great to be here. It's a really good event and fantastic. So I'm the industry guy working in innovation enterprise. My main job is to get people to network. And I'm between you and the networking session. So this is not a good idea. I feel very awkward. So my job is to get off the stage. Trina said, keep it short, sweet and simple. Well, I was never that sweet. We will get on with this. So again, the important thing, the slide shows the gateway to Trinity. It's an open door for companies to come in or for academics to go out and meet enterprise. So that's the message today. Engage, have a discussion, find out what we can do to help you, what you can do to help us, and then we can make this happen. That's just the logistics around it. Where I sit in the Trinity Innovation Enterprise unit. That has many people on board. We have a knowledge transfer, knowledge exchange activity, which Graham and the guys are in, which cover the intellectual property, the commercialization, the protection of your IP. We have a division, Discover Our Portal, which looks at bringing people in through, as the provost mentioned, the new innovation hub. This is to bring people in and help academics and industry engage in research and develop programs and all of the above. That's what the challenge is, and that's what we address. We also have a very interesting innovation educational section called Innovate. So that's what we do. But again, the most important image here is the gateway. It's always open. I want people to come in, engage with the community. I want also our academics and ourselves to go out and spread the word and bring activity in. That's what we do. I was asked to present this one day by the IDA. They were saying if somebody landed in Ireland, not an alien, somebody from a different country, how would you explain what's going on? And I said, thanks a lot. It's really complicated, but we're a small country, there's a lot going on. So I tried to put this together and show the funding agencies, the various stakeholders, how the university sit on top of things. That was me. And then we talked about the centres. We have really, really active Research Ireland centres. I mean, Dan's in the room, so is Denise from Amber. So again, you've got this centre culture, and then you have also things like technology centres, Innovate, and we do a lot of work with the IMR. So if the whole, this ecosystem is working, it's all working to try and to provide solutions to companies to engage in. And, and the way to do this is you can go bumping around all you want, but I suggest you go and talk to me or somebody else, or Dan or Denise or Sarah, and figure out what this thing can do for you, and then go and make it happen. And sometimes it happens in Trinity. Sometimes it happens with Trinity engagement with other universities. Sometimes it happens with Trinity engaging in the Amber grant or the Insight or Connect, whatever. But it happens a certain way, and we have mechanisms and methods in place to let you engage with this ecosystem. But to be honest, as a company, you kind of don't know what you don't know. So getting into that portal, i.e. coming in and asking somebody, what this does, help me engage, is probably the most efficient way and the most sensible way of doing it. And obviously work with the IDA and EI and the other agencies as well. This is covered before. What do we get? The yin and the yang. I mean, for anything to work, there has to be a shared goal and a shared outlook and something we can get together on. So this kind of causes some of the things from the industry side and university. There's many of these. People add more all the time. I call out two. I call out the talent of our academic base and the talent of our students. I also call it out from the university side, basically the idea to be able to network with a company and actually understand what's happening, get into their roadmaps, be a way of commercializing your research, finding out how our research can be competitive and how we can be placed and how we can affect both society and enterprise. So lots of things we do, lots of ways of engaging, but the message is we should be engaging because it works. They don't run at the same speed, but they do connect and it does work. And I will encourage people to make this better. And that's what Trina and Strategy is trying to do today. Kevin Kelly won't like this. It's not very good design thinking. He probably do a lot better. But if you're a 4-year-old trying to figure out how things worked and are pushing these big buttons, these are the ones I think you'd be pushing. At least it's been told by a 4-year-old. Okay. So collaborative research, it's really important for the college that we collaborate and engage, and both with companies and other universities. We're really good at that, and we've a long history of it. You can also do consultancy where you can talk to our researchers and figure out how they can help you. Sometimes new knowledge is great, but there's a lot of old knowledge in people's heads. You need to access that. And that's something that we have in spades in Trinity. So please, I'd encourage you to talk to the PIs, engage, talk to the units. We do a lot of knowledge transfer, i.e. we take our technology, our ideas, and we get it out into the ecosystem, into industry, into society. That's what Graham and Sam and the guys do. We also start out new ventures, i.e. our spin-outs, and Trinity leads the field in that in Ireland. We're very proud of our achievements, and many people in the room are involved in spin-outs, so you know the hard work there, but it's well worth doing. Talent, again, can't say it strong enough. The talent of the students, the talent of the academics, also the professional staff and helping them. So we've got a really good mixture in Trinity, and above all, we protect our talent. And being the top university, top ranked in Ireland, globally competitive, that allows us to attract and retain, I hope, new talent and help our existing talent grow in a very effective way. So talent is really important. Education is what we do. I shouldn't have to explain that. It's fundamentally belief why we're here. Philanthropy is taking a bigger proportion now. People want to provide us funding to do things, to fund the building, to fund the course, to fund a new centre. It's a really good way of actually engaging with people who want to help us. And again, people like Sinead is in the room today. So, really good way of actually engaging. And also I call our branding and identity. I mean, Trinity has an international brand. It's world recognized. We shouldn't forget, if you work with Trinity, you're working with a university here since 1592. I mean, the plumbing has changed, I hope, and the people have got more modern, but the attitude is still the same. We want to actually, understand, discover, define, communicate, and benefit society, and do it in a very diverse and inclusive way, of course. I was asked to talk about IP. So before you read this slide, and don't ever read it, I'll say one thing. Having a cup of coffee and coming in and talking to the academics requires nothing on this slide. It requires your ability to come in and chat and meet. And that's what we encourage, to actually figure out what we can do. And then all this other material will come in behind and play to that strength. But the idea of the first contact, coming in and discovering what's happening in the department, who's doing what, can we help you? That's the secret sauce. This is the way we bake it, but the secret sauce is that. And we do things like we protect our intellectual property. Our academics should be protecting it with disclosures so we can actually control it and actually dispense it correctly. We talk about the NDA, the non-disclosure. Really important that if you're talking about private information, that you have the mechanism to protect you and the company and the college. So I'd encourage you to do that. And we have a team sitting in our office which helps there as well. Really important, Knowledge Transfer Ireland have a book on how to manage IP on the website, and they've also got a booklet how to make it simple. So when you have two things on the website, so I'm thinking I'd read the simple bit and ask somebody about the complicated bit. That's what Graham and the guys do. So please, that's my approach. Keep it simple, as Gene said, like the talk. Terms and conditions are really important. We have a really strong contractual team who do all this for you. I can tell you the yings and the yangs. It's really important that those terms are in for activity that's running. Everything should have a contract because there are physical obligations, financial obligations. We've got to protect our students, make sure we can deliver the work. And that piece of paper, that contract is the way we do it. So you're encouraged to do it. From an academic and an industry side, what you can do really importantly is actually define and enlarge and work on the scope of work. It's really important because that determines what we're going to do and kind of determines the IP framework and how we're going to deliver it. And so we all know what we're doing. So as an academic in the industry, the terms and conditions, our guys will cover that. You need to really define the scope of work and the deliverables and how you're going to basically work on this and to make sure we can deliver it in the right time frame and build in various contingencies. The most important graphic on that slide is the Amazon bit, the cost versus value. There's a cost of doing research, and this college does it quite cost effectively, I would argue. We should be getting paid more from a lot of people in the province. We'll probably speak about that later on. But I mean, so the cost of doing a program is the cost. We can cost that for you, right or wrong, we can cost it. The value it returns is obviously a lot larger, really important. And sometimes the value is actually not in the program. It's engaging in a suite of programs and actually working with the academics to find out the next program. So we look at a program, a contract. It's not a single thing. It's a gateway to doing something, but around that there's a ton of opportunities, and you should be, talking to the researchers, talking to the postdocs, trying to hire them, maybe not, but really trying to engage and get the value from the program, And people like, for example, Amber or Dan, Denise, they'll bring you in and talk about other programs going on when you're doing one program. So it's important you take advantage of that. It's really critical that you maximize your time here and maximize your benefit. Yes, the famous picture. Life is like a box of chocolates. And myself and Forrest Gump have the same hairdresser. Basically, what I'm trying to say here is that there's so many opportunities here. It's very hard. And somebody offers you a box of chocolates. The first thing you do is try and pick one out. Why don't you read the index and figure out what they all taste like and find the right one for you? And my role and Sarah's role and the guy's role is to try and be the connoisseur of chocolate and try to identify the ones that work for you so you don't get poisoned and you come back and get a few. So yeah, and these chocolates, we call them chocolates, but they're not. What they are, they're mechanisms, programs, gateways. They are the new program we launched in engineering today. It's like a service contract, consultancy contract, involving in a research center, an innovation partnership, additive. There are all these different flavors of chocolate, and some have different characteristics. Some are monthly calls, some happen once a year, some require co-funding, some require sponsorship. And again, how these all work, that's not your concern. That's my problem. That's what I get paid for. Your concern is to come in, find the right academic, and let me find you the right chocolate, or the team that's here. It's that simple. I deal in chocolates. Okay. An example. Let me try and give you how you can take multiple chocolates. Who only wants one, right? So we mentioned before, there's lots of things going on. And again, this is really just to give you some idea of how it works. It's not about to do this, but it's show you that you can actually, with a strategy, working with a university or an academic or a research center in engineering, they can define a pathway which maximizes how you access all these programs and gives you the best return for a number of things. So Research Ireland at the moment have 2 calls open. There's one where you place a researcher in the company, and one where you develop a partnership model where you sponsor a postdoc, in some cases a postgrad as well, working here. They basically work it out that the state is really anxious that you get this and engage, and they essentially cover 2/3 of the cost for that. Good deal. Enterprise Ireland do also programs where they're very anxious that SMEs in particular engage with the university system, multinationals. And they have a whole bunch of calls. One, the Innovation Partnership, it's a monthly call. It's got its own IP set up. And you can actually get scaling. If you're a small SME, that grant will cover 80% of the costs of doing the research. If you're a multinational, it's 65% plus some in kind. And it's a monthly call, so you have time to prepare for this. So you have different chocolates you can meld together. And if you try to do all those programs, I've only got a few minutes, if you were an academic, what you get would be basically, one postdoc for 2 years, one postgrad for 4 years. You'd place a postdoc in the industry, which is very useful. You'd also be able to cover a postdoc and a research assistant for 2 years under the program. And if you were doing that through these systems, the company would pay about 160,000 odd to do it. And the value is about 620,000. So we're really trying to engineer that. If you're a small company or a company is watching their finances and who isn't today, we can work with you to identify this mix of chocolates to give you the best way of working. And if you're fully funding it, it costs you 1.2 million. And again, that's the cost of the program. It's not the cost of the knowledge in the academic's head. That's covering just the postgrads and the consumables and materials. So it really is extremely cost efficient to work at a university. So I'm saying the financial drivers are there. The intellectual capital is here. All we're missing is the coffee to get together. So I'd encourage you, please, to come in, talk to Trina, Sarah, Alan, anybody who can help. You have a networking session. If you need our help from the innovation team, we're delighted to work. And we wish the engineering school every success with this program. It's kind of throwing a program on gold dust. It's going to work because the people inside are brilliant. That's me. And I'd like to thank Graham as well, who's going to stand up. Graham.
Thank you.